welcome. My name's Kyle. I'm here, of course, with my co-host,
Brock.
Thanks, Brock. And who do we got today? We got a special guest in the audience. 2 weeks in a row, special guest. This is our friend Cam.
What's up, guys? I'm Cam. I'm the other host on Kids in the Corner podcast. If you watched last time's episode on Roman Polanski, you saw my boy Crockett. I'm Cameron, and I'm here to bring the boom.
Okay.
I gotta get this relevant because
It's a big time
Yeah,
get.
you're right.
Cam is an instrumental part of Cat Bastard TV.
Huge get.
Thank you.
If you don't know him, you should.
He was actually the producer of our first episode here at Questionable Characters, so the Day One fans will remember.
It's true. Our long-timers, our day one listeners, you remember Cam.
I got way too many hate comments. I had to.
We kicked you out. We fired you. We had to replace you with someone else. Our producer, Mad Dog, the Slop Alchemist,
Good
over
get.
there in the corner.
Good getting her.
Very capable. She is highly invested in this Woody Allen.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset about it. And
Yeah.
I can't believe that y'all didn't have to endure what I did watching the 4-part docu-series.
Yeah, that's our episode today, folks. Our questionable character is, arguably the worst one we've had so far. We've had some doozies.
Got some bad guys on here.
We've had some doozies.
Long time listener, I can tell you, you got a lot of bad guys on your
There's
show.
a lot of bad guys on this,
There's
show.
a lot of villains.
This one is he's a real evil guy. Woody Allen, of course, we're talking about. If you don't know him, don't look into him. It's not worth it.
I will say, when you first look up Woody Allen without any other reference on Google, it makes him look like a really good guy.
Really?
It's all stuff like his life and legacy.
I was about to say, I think his reputation for our generation precedes him because I never really got into Woody Allen movies. I never really
course
watched
not.
anything prior to 1990. All I knew about him was that he was with a very young girl that was his stepdaughter. And so knowing that about him, you don't really have the urge to go and check out his films like you would some of the other.
Yeah, and it
Classic.
also adds a layer of frustration when you do go watch his films and realize that they're funny.
Yeah,
they're
that's the guy
the
knew how to
jokes
crack
hold
a joke.
up, guys.
He knew how to crack a joke. We, of course, together we watched the film Manhattan. Maybe most relevant to some of his crimes.
Yeah.
It's a movie famous for him dating a teenager, 17-year-old teenager, soon to be 18. And by the end of the film, she does turn 18, so it's okay.
Consensual. And
It all works
And
out.
like I said, his reputation preceded him. So all I knew about Woody Allen was the fact that he liked young women. So in putting on Manhattan, I assumed, obviously not going to like this movie. He's dating a younger woman. I was proven wrong. It's a good film. He's very self-aware in how bad of a person he is, and so he is cast as a disgraceful man.
He casts himself as a disgraceful man
Yes.
who hooks up with a lot of chicks.
But it
despite
ages
his looks.
much better than if he was playing a hero in the film, because that's much easier to be like, that's not who he is. But when he's playing a deprived man, you're like, okay, this kind of works.
Well, when you're built like that, you kind of I hate to get into this style, but when you look like that, you're gotta have proclivities to being a little freak.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know where you were going.
He looks like a sweaty goblin man.
Yeah.
And that,
He's very neurotic.
yes.
Very awkward. In the way that he talks, he speaks in this kind. He speaks with his hands. Very
New York.
very New York. Very
The word you're looking for is Jewish. He's almost he's almost a
No.
caricature of Jewish behavior, I feel like.
I think he's just maybe some of the things that Woody Allen has done has maybe been used to paint the rest of the community in a bad light. Maybe he's kind of done so much bad shit that he became the bad stereotype, I guess.
Well, he wrote
Yeah.
himself into so many bad roles that eventually the lines blurred.
Yeah, he's always playing the weak guy who really only got out of situations by skeezing people.
He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's a that's about as nice a words I can come up with.
And you're hearing from three
Funny.
guys who just watched Manhattan. Madeline, what all did the documentary expose?
So Madeline watched this documentary, Alan v. Pharaoh. It's on HBO. And while it was on in the background, I was editing. And anytime I took my headphones off, I heard the worst shit that a person wanted to hear.
It's so bad. And I was telling Kyle this on the way over here that when we thought of the idea for the podcast, it seemed like such an innovative idea.
It was genius.
I love film, so it's no work on my part to sit and watch a movie. But in studying crimes of despicable people, I don't have much time for.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's a real day ruiner. Learning about the worst possible people.
I think you
I
guys
kinda
started
love
this.
it,
I think
though.
you guys started this podcast because you wanted to watch more movies, and
Yeah.
that like y'all really like movies, without getting so into the fact that you're going to be reading through a lot of messed up stuff.
Didn't realize
And
Just
that
the
50%
worst
of
kind of stuff.
I don't think.
50% of the job is discovering what awful people did.
Yeah,
And we didn't really take that into
I think that's where
Yeah.
Madeline excels, though. Madeline
Yes.
loves to hear the juicy,
I'm
fucked up details.
Not gonna lie, I really do. I was enthralled. That's why I have so many notes on this, because it really is something that you have to watch. Like, don't skimp out on the details. So, for sure, like, okay, he married Mia Farrow.
And she had been in a few of his movies, correct? When did their relationship start?
Their relationship started. Mia Farrow just now was married to Frank Sinatra for about 2 years.
Really?
And she was in
Frankie Blue
Rosemary's
Eyes.
Baby, which referenced to the last
She was in
episode.
Rosemary's Baby with Roman Polanski, who was our episode 3 of Questionable Characters.
It all connects, folks.
Yeah, I don't even know if I should watch Rosemary's Baby at this point. But basically, she got a divorce because she would not quit that movie. And then within that year or two after that, she met Woody in Elaine's. And that's where they were at in Manhattan, was Elaine's. Just saying. Crazy.
Like from Seinfeld?
Yeah. I
Lane's
think-
is
Elaine
a
from Seinfeld.
cafe, I assume.
Yeah, it's like a cafe
Okay.
in Manhattan. And
So
and
I want to get this,
they-
just to clarify, Frank Sinatra divorced her because she was too busy. Was he not busy as fuck?
You know, I think he's just probably
Wasn't
more
he a little
controlling.
Older by
He
then?
was
Definitely cheating on her.
He was not a good-
the
best guy.
Sinatra, baby.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
the best singer in the world, and dude. If you're Frank Sinatra, I mean, it's just, hate to say it, that was the times where
What,
You
you
could
hit
do
a
anything
lady?
you were
wanted.
just doing lines of coke, giving performances, and then being bad to women. That was just what you
Which
did
is-
whenever you were a man of that status back then.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't expected of you to be nice to them.
Another point I was thinking of is Alan was born in 1935. Lived through a much different time than we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jerry Seinfeld had a 17-year-old girlfriend pretty recently, and not that much fuss was brought up about it.
Yeah, that was like the 90s.
And just wanted to point out the fact that he was brought up in another generation.
Yeah, he's a product of a different time.
Not that what he did was
Not
okay.
yeah, it's not an excuse for touching people who
Not
you
sure.
shouldn't be touching.
Yeah, I really don't know what he did. So, Madeline?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, before he even met Pharaoh, which we just now talked about Manhattan, he was dating a 17, 18-year-old who turned 18-year-old at the time, and she asked, "Am I your muse for this?" And he said, "Of course you are."
She was
Ain't that sweet?
How
his muse
nice.
for the movie Manhattan.
Everyone wants to be a muse.
What's the big deal with being
If
a
you're-
muse?
You're
It makes,
17
it makes you kind of immortal because the project lasts forever and it was inspired by you. So it's kind of one of I would
Yeah.
assume it has
Manhattan's
something
a
to do with-
tough one to immortalize yourself with.
Kyle, it's a good movie.
It's a pretty good movie.
It's a good movie about a bad guy
It's a pretty
and
good
made
movie.
by a bad guy, starring the bad guy about the bad guy.
Yeah, don't watch it. You don't
I-
have to watch it.
It's
I gave
Yeah,
it
it was
good.
kind of good.
I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. Check my profile if you'd like.
3 stars is a lot. That's basically like
3
an
out of 5.
8 for
It's pretty good.
that's 8 for Brock standards.
Pretty good.
Good. Well, let's just say they met. He never had any kids with her. They did end up, and she had about 6 kids before this. 2 of them from her, or 3 of them from her. 2 of them adopted. One of them was Soon Yi, who we will later talk about.
Any kids with Frank?
No kids with Frank. These were all with Pervin.
He was shooting blanks anyway.
So she had those kids in her relationship with Frank as well. They must not have been together that long.
No, they were not. It was probably about 2 years that they were even married.
Okay.
And so basically, whenever they got married, they ended up adopting Dylan, who was one of the people who had been SA'd, to use the proper term. And
so Woody S.A.'d Dylan.
How
Yes.
old was Dylan when she was adopted?
she was a baby. That's kind of why Woody was so attached to her, because it was like his own, and the way that they would describe Woody's relationship with her was kind of obsessive, and like he had to hold her. He would take her to different rooms.
But this was also his first child
Yes.
because Mia Farrow brought the rest of the kids into the relationship, and so Dylan was the first that was kind of his.
He ended up adopting them later, but he did not adopt them when Mia got them. He said, "I don't want anything to do with, like, this is on you if you go have it." Like they didn't live with each other. He wasn't planning on living with her. She was living in Connecticut. He was living in Manhattan.
And so when did the problematic behavior start to occur?
I think it must have started to occur as soon as he moved into this house with a bunch of adopted children that weren't biologically
They didn't
his,
live
and he
together.
started sneaking around. They didn't live together, but I mean, I'm sure once he caught a whiff, he was over there all the time.
So this was kind of at the same exact time that he was having an affair with Soon Yi, and so this was all at the same time.
What's Dylan and Sunyi's age comparison?
So she was in high school at the time.
Dylan was?
Soon Yi was. Soon Yi's older, and Dylan was 6 years old, I believe. It was very, very young. But
When this started to occur.
and this only happened once to Dylan. Like, well, the
When she
SA
was
only
6.
happened once, but a lot of the creepy stuff happened way before that.
Not
So, like,
good.
he would make them sleep together with her clothes off, and he's in his underwear. He would ask her to suck her thumb.
Is this stuff later? Are we spoiling?
No, this is kind of part of it. I'm kind of just mixing it. giving
Oh,
y'all
yeah,
the
so he
short
was-
and skinny of it.
But just to play devil's advocate,
oh God.
Okay.
Well, I just told you
Sure.
about sucking thumbs. So
Okay.
go
Sure,
for it.
go for it, bro.
Yeah. Why was he
Let's
sucking
hear
that thick kid's thumb, Brock?
Gandhi reportedly did the same thing, and people worship him.
But he's still problematic. He's a questionable character.
Yeah, but Gandhi was the coolest guy in a third world backwood. Of course he could do whatever he wanted, you know? Of course they gave him that access.
Maybe this was just a test of will in Woody's part. Probably not.
This was in
Just
Hollywood,
just
baby,
trying
the
to put
land
out
of...
an opposing idea.
Gandhi did a couple more good things for the world compared to making
You didn't
a
like
couple movies.
Gandhi didn't make Annie Hall.
That's true. Shoot.
Y'all
He
seen
didn't.
Annie
Yeah,
Hall?
Shoot, he didn't. You're right.
And
I
also,
haven't seen Gandhi's pratfall.
Yeah, that's fair.
What kind of...
I would love to see Gandhi write a comedy movie.
I bet it'd be
I bet
so
it'd be
funny.
awesome. It'd be like the next Superbad.
Probably not, but I mean, we can see it. Okay, so what does Soon Yi say about these allegations against Dylan? Because she is still with Woody, correct?
She's still with Woody.
So why would she be with a man who molested her sister?
Okay, so she doesn't know about Dylan. She doesn't know about any of that stuff at this time. Like, she doesn't know that he does this creepy stuff with Dylan. In 1991, okay, let's just say all this stuff is happening. He's being kind of creepy to Dylan and possessive. She's a baby growing up. He's also kind of grooming Soon Yi at the time, and telling her, like, hey, you can be a model and I'll put you in films, all this kind of stuff. They went
Busy
to
man.
basketball games. Yeah, he had a lot of lives.
Entertaining 3 women at once?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we can't call them all women, but...
No.
Oh yeah, in
Girls.
1991. Yes. Okay. So their relationship developed, and I remember this part. They were filming a movie, and I'm reading off the board right now, but they were hanging out more, and he brought her into their screening room. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, and I believe they were watching the movie The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman.
Woody and Dylan were.
Woody and Soon Yi.
Okay.
This is when Woody and Soon-Yi begin their relationship. Watching The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman, which is a movie about dying and being dead, and it's a German expressionist movie or a Eastern European expressionist movie.
Sweet.
In the documentary we just watched, we saw that Woody Allen was obsessed with two topics, really, sex and death. So that kind of plays into...
Yeah, it does. And, Eastern cinema at the time, Eastern European cinema at the time was very, like, nihilist and, like, death-centric. And maybe where some of these ideas originated, because our good friend Roman now lives in France, which also had its own weird, fucked up kind of cinema back in the day, back when you could get away with things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no telling. So what happened from there?
Coming back from they're having a relationship right before that, before the incident we'll talk about with Dylan, because it does escalate. Mia found pictures of Soon-Yi in a almost hustler style way of like pictures, and she was in high school at the time, and he accused her of it. And I mean, that's bad on all the parents, to even have that happen. But they asked her to stay. She wouldn't stay.
They asked her to stay.
They asked Soon-Yi to stay, and she didn't want to even stay home. And then she went to a camp or something like that. Like, I don't know. She
At
left
what age?
like the summer. She was
14.
No, she was like 17.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing. He gets them right before. I think it's like the right before thing that really gets them.
Yeah, the forbidden fruit. Instead of waiting for it to come to you, you just reach right up and pick it.
They're probably going to divorce soon, stuff like that. Things are heating up.
Everyone knows it's more fun to drink before you turn 21.
It's so funny to imagine Woody Allen in a shouting argument with his wife, Mia Farrow.
They're tasteful.
They're tasteful, babe. Don't ask me why I got them printed.
They were probably going to go get divorced soon. He was about to lose custody of Dylan because, like, at this point, he had adopted them. Not at first, but he later on in a couple of years did adopt two of them. And he was about to lose custody of her, and the incident happened while Mia was away. There was two caretakers with the kids. They could not find Dylan or Woody for about, 10, 20 minutes, and they looked everywhere, like every room. This is in their deposition. They could not find him. And then they came back, and she was just in her underwear, and he just didn't say anything about it, and he left immediately. And then Mia was told about it when she got back.
He was still not living with them.
Yeah, he never lived with them. That's the thing. He would visit. Or they would stay with him in his New York apartment.
And how old was she?
She was about 6 at the time.
Can you tell us where they went in that time?
So they went into the attic. That's why they couldn't find them.
Can you set the scene? What was going on? What it looked like in there? Because there's a prop. There's a set piece.
Are you talking about the train set?
I'm talking about the train set, which is the most fucked up thing in the world.
To have to look at.
Dark attic crawl space.
Yes. So basically,
with just a little train set.
We don't have to go into too many of the details.
Yeah.
This is
but it
so
happened.
upsetting.
I didn't want to even say that part, but yeah,
it's part of the story.
It's bad.
But it is part of the story.
Bad guy.
Asked her to go there. He told her during the time, which really rubbed me the wrong way, that he would take her to Paris. If she complied.
I think the train.
So he asked her to keep things quiet.
Oh yes,
and then promised a trip to Paris.
Yes,
so
which is what they also
her
said
mother
in
found out
Manhattan.
about this right after.
Yes, whenever she came back, they told her, the babysitters told her about that, and she recorded Dylan talking about it, and then the next day took her to the doctor. Doctor examined her, was a mandatory reporter, reported it, and then called Mia to go say that he reported it because he had to, and it kind of wrecked their relationship too. So it was an issue altogether.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one.
Yeah, because there was signs.
They didn't work it out.
And yes, the first.
Just talk it out.
You can't talk that out.
I think that train
Everyone's
set.
so quick to divorce these days.
Yeah, I think that train set was of that. The train set was actually up in the attic for Woody. He really likes trains.
Does seem to be a train guy.
He would be a train guy.
Okay, so after this incident happens, this is before he's in a relationship with Soon-Yi.
This is kind of during. He's kind of grooming her during this time.
No sexual encounters, though.
We can't say that. We don't know that.
We don't know.
Yeah, we
So-
don't know.
Did they go to court over this, and is he charged?
There is a case that opens up in Connecticut. He was never charged and arrested.
So the
Must mean he didn't do it.
the Reddit lady might be onto something.
Learning about this made me realize how much money is in movies and how much like stock people are having in something, or they're invested in it, so they're gonna protect the person who's creating the movie because that way they're protecting their money. So that's why they got these crazy PR teams that can protect them from pretty much anything, and they start doing crazy shit because now they're protected from someone who has
and we
more money
have
than
seen
God.
that since episode 1. A lot of these guys have skirted any type of trouble.
Yeah, and they have great legal teams.
Mhm.
Who's funding those legal teams? The movies are.
Yeah, I think this is a story of a good man corrupted by Hollywood and the liberal media. They drove him to do these things.
I'm really interested
No.
in what Soon Yi says about this because she is still with him.
Suni, I believe, famously says very little.
She does not say much.
I don't think she's. I don't think she's said much of anything. I think
They're
she's
still
just-
together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From what I know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say anything if I
No.
were.
I mean, if you were still actively married,
We've got a clip, everybody.
we got a clip for
First
everyone.
clip of the pod.
Whoa! First clip of the show. Congratulations,
Thank
guys!
you for
I'm
being
honored
here
to
for
be
this
here.
First clip of the pod.
Do you think the audience is going to realize that I'm not actually defending Woody Allen here? Do you
No.
think the audience is going to
I
get
hope
it?
so. None of us are, except God.
What?
Pretty funny.
He's so funny, though.
Pretty funny.
He's so funny.
And I haven't even seen his funniest movies, and I still thought it was good.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, if I were there that funny, who knows what I could get away with?
So much, apparently.
And
So
this
much.
also
So much.
This also makes the case to be lazy and not put out that much stuff, because these people that we've looked at are all very prolific,
It's true.
and it makes them bad people.
Yeah, if he had channeled that energy into something like badminton, I think it would have been healthier.
If
Instead,
he was much more into NFL football and college football and
He's not going to be in the
drank
football.
6 beers a night, this might not have happened.
you know,
he would have
sports-
bottled it up to a point to where he acted in a rash behavior towards his wife in front of his children, but no 6-year-old touching in front of trains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So pick your poison, people.
I think
Do you want to be prolific?
I
It
think
might come with it.
I think none of this would have happened if he had a Top Golf nearby. I think he's just got to blow off some steam.
Okay, let's
Instead, he
roll the clip.
Let's roll that clip.
Yeah.
Roll that clip. Let's see what Suni has to get.
choo choo.
Breaking her silence about her relationship with husband Woody Allen and her adoptive mother Mia Farrow, who was partners with Allen when they met. Paul Ferris wrote the story from New York Magazine and Paul has some blistering revelations.
Yeah.
Blistering is an understatement. Suni Previn claims that Mia Farrow spanked her with a hairbrush, slapped her across the face, and called her stupid. When asked if she had
She does be
anything
talking
more
about
to say
that.
about Farrow, who is her adoptive
Oh
mother,
my God.
Previn says she cannot come up with a single positive recollection.
Oh.
It was the
Yeah, the counterpoint to a lot of this stuff is that she knew that that he was divorcing her, and she was upset with him, so she coordinated this lie in order to affect Woody's legacy because she was vengeful.
I can see that. Look at her little beady shark eyes. And now look at Woody Allen's soft, gentle face.
Stop! It's not.
Now we
It's
are
not.
into, we are
It's
in,
just a sweet old man.
we're transitioning into episode 4.5 on Mia Farrow.
Yeah. I mean, look at how
Questionable character Mia Farrow.
she abused the weak and gangly Woody Allen. No, that's not true.
No, that's not
she
true at
didn't
all.
do that.
What do the other children have to say about this? Outside of Soon Yi, we know what Soon Yi said. We know what Dylan said.
What's that little guy with the glasses
There were
doing?
a lot of other people around.
Okay, so he also adopted him. I forgot what his name was, but he never wants to speak to Woody again.
Fair.
He's like, I can't believe my father would do this.
Could be
Also,
brainwashed by Mia.
Ronan Farrow, who's pretty famous, he does not speak to Woody and also definitely sides with Dylan. Pretty much everybody
Father-son
sides
relationships are difficult.
Well, also,
with Dylan but Soon-Yi.
I've seen some interviews with Woody Allen, and it makes sense that his kids wouldn't want to talk to him because his voice is annoying.
His voice is annoying.
His
and
voice is
he talks
annoying.
about death all the
He's
time.
always talking like blah. He's always blah. That's where Woody Allen lives.
Was
He lives
there-
in the blah.
So there was no settlement or anything in the Allen versus Pharaoh.
Okay.
I'm not gonna pay any settlement money. What do you
so-
mean settlement money? I'm not gonna pay anything.
So for the police,
Blah.
Sorry.
so for the police incident, let me go back. Oh wait, I don't want them to go see that I'm going back.
Blah.
That's Woody. That's our Woody.
What did he say? What did he say before?
I find these beautiful, innocent young women. I took them to New York City. Blah.
For the custody suit, she
Sorry,
won.
he's a bad man.
He's a bad guy.
So there was a custody suit following the alleged rape?
Everything happened like all at once. All these suits happened
Because
right
they were in the
after
middle of a
Dylan.
divorce, and then this was dropped. So they had to go through with the divorce following.
Yeah, this was during. Like, this is all during. There's no like. It's all contemporaneous with.
His court fees really add up.
Oh, and yeah, and he had to pay all of them in the custody suit because he was definitely
Typically
guilty.
how it works.
He was also found like not safe for the New York custody suit, I believe.
Did he ever wear a bucket hat to his trial?
I'm so mad about the bucket hat. Actually, let's go talk about the
You-
bucket hat.
but-
Yeah, let's talk about something lighter, like
So the
bucket
whole
hat.
The whole time Woody Allen was doing this, apparently, he was making a fashion statement.
Big
And-
bucket hat guy.
Big bucket hat guy.
And
Ruined
in the
it for
midst
me.
of our very long sheet of notes of horrible things that this man has done, in the very middle of it is a note that says Woody wore bucket hats.
I did say that.
Ironically enough, he's one of the most honorable people to have ever worn a bucket hat. People who wear bucket hats are scumbags. People who wear
Hot take.
bucket hats are evil on the daily.
Did
What-
Manhattan win any awards?
I don't think so.
Annie Hall won some awards. I think Midnight in Paris might have won an award. He's been nominated
Midnight in
a
Paris.
ton.
Midnight in Paris is pretty good.
That was a nice.
The crazy thing about him is when he does put the bucket hat on, he does look cooler.
He does. He
and
rocks it.
she wears bucket hats
Oh
too.
my gosh.
No.
Well, she's an innocent victim, so she's being forced to wear the bucket hat.
No, that's true.
It's really hard to tell. It's really hard. They've done
It's
a
hard
good
to
job
tell.
of confusing what exactly happened.
Do you think
if
There's
they
a lot
did,
of badness going on.
Do you think Soon-Yi has ever flown economy?
no,
No.
she's lived a
No.
great life.
So is it all bad?
Woody Allen won. Woody Allen got. I don't know. I feel like he got the happy ending version of doing the things that he did.
I mean, if
He's
yeah,
never been to
Strictly
jail. He's.
flown economy.
If anybody else were to do all
I don't-
that stuff, they'd probably be in jail.
I don't think Woody Allen's
Yes.
seen the inside of a prison.
No,
No,
he never did.
he was never
It's not.
charged.
No.
No.
He's
He just didn't get his
somehow
kids.
You'd be surprised
got
how
off
good I am.
scot-free from being one of the world's biggest dirtbags.
You know, something I found is that I can always talk my way out of a jam.
Okay, Madeline, any final thoughts to tie this up?
Let's see.
Can we talk about where Woody Allen is today? What's he? How old is he? How gross is he? And is there anything else surprising coming his way if these new allegations come out that I'm about to make against him? Woody Allen. I was alone in a hotel room with him in 1983, and yeah, I went into the bathroom and there was a hole in the
Wow.
wall. Yeah. It was Christmas time and there was a train. I don't want to get into it.
I mean, he's like 90.
Happy
He's,
holidays, folks.
He's
Christmas
got to
is
be in his
coming
90s.
up.
Oh yeah, it is Christmas time.
I don't think he's making movies anymore. Maybe within the last couple of years he stopped. Probably because, he's 90 and also a bad guy. But even up until like 2013, this was all public knowledge. There's what big movie? He made some movie called like Cafe in Manhattan or something dumb. Cafe Society. I mean, that's got like Steve Carell in it. That's got Blake
Yeah.
Lively in it. Jesse
Um,
Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart. That's got
yeah, Jesse
big,
Eisenberg, Kristen
big
Stewart.
names in that movie. In 2016,
Well, we
they're
saw the
doing it
same
with him.
thing with Polanski. He won
Yep.
Academy Awards 20 years after the fact of all of this had came to light.
Yeah, Roman Polanski's just in France directing films remotely from his castle of doom that he has in the French Alps.
Yeah, he won't leave because he's afraid of being extradited. And I think what we're uncovering in these last 2 episodes is how seedy Hollywood is and what they were able to get away with because of the influence they have over.
Yeah, I hope they don't
work.
send anyone to try to kill you after you expose all these secrets.
I
But
think this will inspire me to continue to be mediocre so that I don't commit
Nothing
any
bad
crimes.
ever happens.
yeah,
You never get caught.
that's a good idea.
Whoa!
And guys, don't forget that I also directed Ants.
Other than ants,
did.
blood.
When I was directing Ants, I wanted the ants to look really sexy, like a supple young woman.
What?
I wanted to make sure the ants, they had exoskeletons, sure, but on the inside they were really sexy, and they had a face that you could really relate to. Just the kind of face you wanted to take to a movie theater or a basketball game.
How many movies did Woody Allen and Mia Farrow projects did they work together?
Quite a few. He works with the same bunch of people. He likes
Yeah,
to,
it
you
says
know.
13.
Films from
Yeah.
80 to 92.
An unlucky number.
It was a very unhealthy
Relationship for
dynamic.
12 years, but they never married or lived together. So
That's
why did they have a custody battle if they were never married?
Because he ended up adopting Dylan and that other boy that I cannot remember the names of. The name of.
Satchel.
Which is easy if you have money. Apparently it's harder if you're not married, but it's easy if you got money.
Everything's easier if you have money.
It's true.
He just adopted them, so that was like the custody battle. The custody thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you can't charge him with incest. You can say he did a lot of things,
Yeah, 'cause he was, no, yeah.
but technically
I hate
Not
that.
blood.
not
Yeah.
blood related.
Was he what's the word when you can't have kids?
Oh, sterile?
I'm
Yes.
sterile.
Was he sterile?
Is that sterile?
Might have been. I have
That's why I do.
no idea. It's a question I can't answer.
Why did you
yeah.
say, am I sterile? I don't think Google will tell you.
I
That's
think
You gotta
why-
go to a doctor.
Yeah, it
Madeline.
is sterility.
I gotta stop doing
It
this
is.
voice. It's too fun.
Sterile?
Cam is
My sperm
Currently-
count is astronomical.
Well,
improving his Jewish accent.
It's not a Jewish accent. It's a Woody Allen voice, and it's a
Pretty close.
specific. It's specific to one guy.
Bleh.
Do we have our wheel of characters
Yeah.
ready?
Despicable Man. I think he wrote.
Despicable man.
He wrote in a self-aware way.
When I was writing
Kind of.
Annie Hall, I was thinking, how dumb and manipulative can I be to these women on
How
set?
hot of women could I cast so I could have sex with on screen?
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
another
there it
thing
is.
we didn't touch on. He scripted a lot of strange encounters with women in his movies, which is he wrote in him grabbing breasts and having sex scenes and stuff like that, which is pretty wild.
and you can look in the archives of Stafford or something like that, and they have a bunch of Woody Allen scripts, like different versions until he got there. Like the real version's not there, but it's all his other versions. And he definitely talks about, he will expand upon the boobs and the sexuality of the women or the age of the women. Like he'll say almost 18.
He's really specific in the type of women he's going to cast when he's writing a script.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
At least.
he's including measurements in the first draft,
Okay,
like
well,
women's measurements.
Oh God.
Janice, blonde, 6'4", 34 DD boobs.
thank you for joining us on another episode,
This was a great ep. Thanks
Deep-
for being here, Cam.
deconstructing some
Thanks
of
for our
Hollywood's
producer, Mad Dog the Slap Alchemist.
It's not grooming if she stays with you.
Now we shall find out who episode 5 will be about.
We're gonna spin that wheel of questionable characters in 3,
2,
2, 1.
1.
Woo! We're spinning. We're spinning the wheel. Who do we got? Somebody fun, I hope. Christopher Walken.
An even more fun impression
Anyone
to
have
do.
a good impression?
No.
I'll work on it before
I'm
the
We'll
next
not
work on
God.
it. We'll do the
Oh,
whole
sorry, that wasn't
podcast
him.
in Christopher Walken impressions.
At least the intro.
No, the whole
Ruh-roh,
thing.
Raggy.
That's really
That's my
good.
that's my Christopher Walken.
Incredible. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Thanks.
Bleh.